Hi everyone, welcome to Crossroads Students. My name is Emily. This message you're going to hear from a student who might be your age, a high schooler who has experienced God move in their life drastically. And I just challenge you to put aside your distractions for just a minute because you could lean in, see what God has for you, and walk away with something new.
Hey guys. My name is Max, if we've never met before. I just want to start off by saying it is crazy what the devil will do to distract us and keep us from listening to the truth of God. We just had a moment here at Oakley that rocked a lot of us. It's definitely something that I'm going to be thinking about through this talk, and I'm sorry that I will be probably not talking my strongest, but it's crazy what the devil will do. It's crazy. So I encourage you guys, if that's not a sign, if you guys will lean in with me and just lock in for these next 5 minutes, because I think I've got something really important for you guys. So I grew up in Crossroads. I came in my mother's womb. There wasn't a weekend that I wasn't here. I came for middle school. Obviously, I'm coming for high school. But guys, it was not an easy journey at all. I did not believe in God for the longest time. I came to Crossroads, and I didn't believe in God. It wasn't something that was easy for me to do. And the majority of these feelings came because of the trust that had been broken between me and my dad. I have seen my dad very sparingly throughout my childhood. We don't have a great relationship, and he broke my trust. So I wrestled with this question throughout my entire life of, if I can't put trust in an earthly father who is here with me, why should I put my faith in a God or a spiritual father that I have no connection to, that I can't see? I struggled with this question, like I said, my whole life. It's still something that comes up today. But it got answered for me when I went on a mission trip. In 2022, February, I went on a trip called Go Alabama, and we sat in this room, this jank gym, with 2 speakers set up and a projector that had half the words on the screen. The other half were off on the wood wall. So the lyrics were really hard to read. But these months building up to this mission trip, I was getting wrecked. I mean, my identity was going through it. I had no one to turn to. I didn't have strong friends. I didn't have strong leaders. My life felt like it was falling apart. So this night in Alabama, where worship is being sung, like I said, very janky, very weird. I decided, God, I've gone through too much. There's nothing that I haven't tried to help my situation. So I gave up putting up these walls. I had so many built up, blocking God out of my life. And that night in Alabama, I let them all down. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't have any more energy to put into those walls. And you know what God did? He showed up. He infiltrated my spirit. He showed me the truth of the situation I had been going through. God put so many male Christian role models that had filled my father figure role throughout my entire life, and I hadn't even noticed it. God himself put him in this hole that I felt needed to be filled, but it was already filled. I came out of Alabama kind of looking at my life like a puzzle, like puzzle pieces. And to be honest, after Alabama, they were setting up very nicely. This is the puzzle I've got here. Star Wars, yep. All of the pieces of my puzzle were set up perfectly. They're not set up here because I didn't have time to build this puzzle. But coming out of Alabama, everything fit. My faith was strong. I believed in God, and I was starting my faith journey, and it felt like nothing could stop me. Well, I was wrong. The devil likes to come around and mess things up, as we know. He likes to come around and take the stand that the puzzle is on the table and shake it. And all these puzzle pieces that you just worked so hard to put together into this puzzle of perfection get scattered around. You have to go pick them up, put them back on the table, and try and get this puzzle of faith that you worked so hard to build already back to where it was. And it's a losing battle. You can't do it. The table stays shaking. It's always shaking. You see, there's a difference between me having faith and me being faithful. Being faithful requires discipline. And I'm not talking about the discipline of your parents taking the wooden spoon and smacking you on the butt and leaving red marks. Not that kind of discipline. I'm talking about self-discipline, specifically spiritual discipline. You wake up every morning or whatever time of day and you center yourself in God. Whether that be opening up the Bible, worshiping, whatever works for you, you have to be disciplined in your faith to be faithful, or you won't ever have a complete puzzle. I, like I said, didn't have a strong relationship with my father. The weekend of May 31st through June 2nd, I went to father-son camp. And actually, I think I've got a picture of me and my dad at father-son camp on the screen. Yeah, here, this picture. I mean, yeah, this was the fourth time, by the way, this is the fourth time I'd seen my dad in 7 years. My fourth time seeing him was going to father-son camp, spending a week alone with my dad and other people who had present dads, spending a week in the woods with him. And let me tell you, I was scared. It was frightening. It was the scariest decision I've ever made. I'm pretty much going to camp with a stranger. But guys, I went into this weekend with a full puzzle, with my puzzle completed. I have had a strong faith. I've glued it together with discipline. And while, yes, puzzle pieces do fall off every once in a while, I'm able to go grab them and put them back. Being able to go into this weekend with my puzzle completed allowed me to show my dad God's faithfulness. We had a moment in solitude where he and I talked together about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a strong topic when you're talking about a guy that left you when you were 2. Forgiveness plays a big role in that. We talked together for about an hour and a half. I explained how I had forgiven him, how my family had forgiven him, and how God gave his only son, Jesus, down to earth. Jesus died, for my dad so that he could be forgiven. And I had this moment where I was like, I'm preaching right now to my dad. I don't know if or when he's heard this truth, but I'm giving it to him now. Guys, there's only 2 things you can do on earth that you can't do in heaven. One of them is sin. The other is bringing a person into the love of God. That's the only other thing you can do on earth and not in heaven. You see, when you put your faithfulness in God, God will put his faithfulness in you to complete his most important task, which is bringing people into the love of God. There's nothing more important than that. That's what I want to end with. Guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I know I definitely scaled over a couple things in that talk. This has been a rough night for a lot of us, and I will be continuing to pray for all of you guys. Thank you.
All right, thanks for watching. If you like what you heard, we have more content for you on our YouTube channel if you want to subscribe, and make sure to check us out on Instagram for everything that's coming up.